MTV headquarters, New York City. September 1991, 9:23 p.m. Bob Kleiman sits in his corner office, 7th floor. Senior Vice President of Programming. The man who decides what 47 million viewers see. His phone rings. Los Angeles area code. We have a problem with the Jackson video. Bob leans back. What kind of problem? The final sequence. 4 minutes of intensity. Michael dancing alone, breaking things. The movement is aggressive. Our standards department says it's too much. Bob rubs his temples. Michael Jackson. The biggest name in music. And now, 3 hours before the biggest awards broadcast of the year, they're having this conversation. Cut it, Bob says. Air the first 7 minutes. The kids singing. The morphing faces. The safe parts. Silence. Bob, Michael's not going to accept that. He doesn't have a choice. We control the broadcast. The call ends. But what Bob doesn't know, what nobody at MTV knows, is that Michael Jackson stopped accepting other people's limitations years ago. Los Angeles. Universal Amphitheater. 11:34 p.m. Michael stands in his dressing room. White shirt. Black pants. His hands shake slightly. Not from nerves. From controlled rage. Frank Dileo, his manager, just left. Delivered the message from New York. They're removing the final sequence. The part where Michael stops being the safe, smiling performer and becomes something raw. The part where he shows the anger. They want the puppet version, Michael says quietly. He stands. Walks to the door. His security guard straightens. Where's the technical control room? The broadcast control? Building's basement. West corridor. But Michael, show me. They walk through backstage corridors, past celebrities, past production assistants, past organized chaos. Nobody stops Michael Jackson. They reach the control room. Gray door. Red light indicating active broadcast. Michael opens it. Inside, 12 monitors show different camera angles. 3 technicians at the console. One, Danny Chen, looks up. His face goes white. Michael Jackson just walked into Mission Control 28 minutes before his video premiere. Mr. Jackson, you're not supposed to. Which server has my complete video? Danny glances at his supervisor, Rick Martins. Rick is frozen. This isn't protocol. But this isn't just talent. This is Michael Jackson. Mr. Jackson. Rick finds his voice. We have instructions from New York. The edited version. 7 minutes. The approved cut. Michael walks closer to the server rack. You have the complete version somewhere. Network policy requires backup files. Rick's phone buzzes. Text from Bob Kleiman. Do not let Jackson near the servers. Too late. You're going to air the complete video, Michael says. Not threatening. Stating facts. All 11 minutes. Including the sequence your executives fear. We can't. We have orders from people who've never created anything. Michael makes eye contact. You're a technician. You understand craft. When something is complete versus when it's been gutted for advertisers. Rick says nothing, because Michael's right. Rick watched the full video during technical review. Watched Michael dance with raw emotion. Then watched executives cut it apart. If you air the edited version, you're telling every artist their vision doesn't matter, that corporations decide acceptable art. The phone rings. Rick ignores it. But if you air the complete version, you're telling 47 million people that honesty matters more than comfort. Rick's hand moves toward the keyboard. Stops. They'll fire me. Probably, Michael acknowledges. But in 20 years, will you tell your kids you protected your job? Or something that mattered? Rick thinks about his daughter. 7 years old. Takes dance classes. Has Michael Jackson posters. She's watching tonight. What does he want her to see? The sanitized version? Or the truth? Rick's fingers move. Danny, pull up the master file. 11 minutes, 14 seconds. Danny's eyes widen. Rick, pull up the file. Michael doesn't smile, just nods once. Thank you for trusting the work. He walks out, back toward the stage. In the control room, the phone explodes with calls. Bob Kleiman, Standards Department, Legal Affairs. Rick unplugs the phone. Are we really doing this? Danny asks. Rick cues the complete video. We're really doing this. 11:57 p.m. 3 minutes to premiere. In Detroit, Marcus Williams sits with his 10-year-old son, Jamal. The boy vibrates with excitement. Dad, this is it. In Chicago, Angela Martinez sits with her daughter Rosa, who refused to sleep until she sees the video. In rural Mississippi, Thomas and Darlene Wright sit with their grandson Kevin, both white, both 50s, both raised in a world with clear lines about race. But Kevin's happiness matters more than Thomas's discomfort. 11:59 p.m. Lights down. The video begins. The first 7 minutes are what MTV approved. Beautiful. Uplifting. Children morphing into each other. Unity. It don't matter if you're black or white. Marcus watches Jamal sing along. Angela watches Rosa's face light up. Thomas watches Kevin's foot tapping. Then, at 7 minutes, where the edited version would end, it continues. Michael transforms into a panther, an alley, nighttime, urban, and Michael dances. Not smooth, controlled movements. This is different, raw, intense, like anger has a body. Like every headline that called him Wacko Jacko condensed into pure kinetic energy. He grabs himself, unzips his pants, not obscenely, but definitely, reclaiming sexuality. He smashes car windows, throws garbage cans, spray paints walls, destruction as expression, rage as art. In Detroit, Marcus tenses. He glances at Jamal. The boy's mouth open, eyes locked, not shocked, mesmerized. In Chicago, Angela's first instinct is to turn it off, but Rosa leans forward, completely focused. In Mississippi, Darlene shifts uncomfortably. Thomas maybe. Thomas raises a hand. Wait. Because Michael isn't just performing, he's communicating. Every movement says, this is who I am when I'm not performing for you. This is the anger you don't want to see. The sexuality you want me to hide. Without apology. 4 full minutes. Michael destroys property, touches himself, screams silently, becomes the version that makes comfortable people uncomfortable. Then it ends, fades to black. In MTV's New York headquarters, Bob Kleiman is on the phone with legal. I want names, I want terminations. But in living rooms across America, something else happens. Marcus looks at his son. What did you think? Jamal takes a moment. Michael was showing the parts people don't want to see. The angry parts. And? That's brave. Marcus nods. Yeah, you're right. In Chicago, Rosa asks, why did he break those things? Angela thinks carefully. Sometimes when people try to control you, the anger builds up. Michael was showing what that feels like. Is it okay to be that angry? It's okay to feel it, to express it, as long as you're not hurting people. In Mississippi, Thomas speaks. When I was young, if a black man showed that kind of intensity on television, there would have been consequences. Bad consequences. Kevin's face falls. But maybe that's exactly why he needed to show it. Maybe we need to see people as they are, not versions that make us comfortable. He looks at Kevin. You admire him? Yes, sir. Then pay attention to what he just did. He didn't ask permission to be himself. That's harder than it looks. The next morning, MTV's phones are jammed, some outraged, parents demanding apologies. But other calls are different. Thank you for showing the complete video. My daughter needed to see that. Finally, something real. The controversy rages for weeks. But the video stays in rotation. Because Michael Jackson is too important to ban. And slowly something shifts. More artists push boundaries. More videos show anger, sexuality, complexity. Because Michael Jackson showed them it was possible. 6 months later, Rick Martins receives a package. No return address. A handwritten letter. Rick, I know you lost your job. I wanted you to know what it gave me. I'm 15. Black. Angry a lot. Everyone tells me to calm down. Smile more. Be acceptable. I watched Michael dance with rage and refused to apologize. For the first time, I didn't feel wrong for being angry. Thank you. Anonymous Rick kept that letter in his wallet for the rest of his life. Because 23 minutes in a control room. One decision to trust the artist over the corporation. Rippled into a teenager's life. That's what Michael Jackson understood. Why he walked into that control room. Why he refused the edited version. Not for himself. For the kids who needed to see someone refuse to be controlled. 47 million people watched that night. Most remember the controversy. But some remember the lesson. You don't need permission to be yourself. The parts they want you to hide are often the parts that matter most. Michael Jackson taught that lesson in 11 minutes and 14 seconds. They tried to cut it to 7. He made sure all 11 aired, and somewhere, a 15-year-old who felt wrong for being angry learned they weren't alone. That's the real story. Not the dance moves. Not the controversy. The story is what happens when one person refuses to be sanitized. So here's the question. What parts of yourself are you editing out? What truth are you cutting because someone decided it's too much? Michael Jackson learned something that night in September 1991. The world doesn't need more edited versions. It needs the full truth. Raw. Uncomfortable. Real. He gave them that truth. And it changed what millions believed was possible. The question is, when will you,